Hello everyone, it's Leo and it's time to talk about episode 29 from Delicious Party PreCure, which was a very nice episode. There were lots of little details that I absolutely loved, and I feel like this episode, visually at least, was a big treat. I really loved all the colors, the backgrounds. Cooking them looked amazing and super colorful. I loved it. But before we talk about the events of the episode itself, let's talk a little bit about lore, because I feel like this episode brought it a lot. First, let's talk about traveling between dimensions, because it feels like there are lots of dimensions in Delicious Party. We know at least 3 of them. Our world, the human world, Cookingdom, and the Bandiru Gang hideout, which seems to be in another dimension. And right at the start, we learned that traveling between dimensions is not an easy thing to do. You need 2 delicious stones to do it. Well, Rosemary does not have a delicious stone anymore, so it's hard for them to travel to Cookingdom. We don't know how to do that, but there is another way. Kome the First was able to do it. Pum Pum always remembering little details about Kome the First. And she was able to do it because she stores a lot of energy in her brooch. So that's what happens. We have a very cute animation for Kome at that moment. But there's also another thing to consider here. The Bandiru Gang is also able to traverse through dimensions. How do they do that? We don't know. And it feels like the Bandiru Gang has so many mysteries, and I'm so curious for all of them. The second important thing for us to consider here is the delicious stones themselves. I don't think that they have mentioned before that there are so many delicious stones, because we can see that there are 99 cook fighters in this episode, and there are apprentices too, and they all have a delicious stone. But there are certain delicious stones that are different, which are the special delicious stones. And in the show, it seems that only Mari and Fennel have a special delicious stone. Also, the delicious stone that Narciso had and the one Secretoru has now seem to be replicas of a special delicious stone. So they are kind of on the same level of power as a regular special delicious stone. I wonder about Takumi's delicious stone, but from what I gathered from this episode, his delicious stone is a regular delicious stone. A delicious stone that cook fighters get after they become cook fighters. So the delicious stone, they choose them, they power them up a little bit, but they're a little different than a special delicious stone. And so this talk of dimension is relevant for a couple of reasons. One is Bandiru Gang, they traverse through dimensions. What are they searching for? What are they going after? I am so curious to learn more about them. And also, there was a mention in when they were talking about cook fighters, because they go after the Bandiru Gang. So the Bandiru Gang is not acting right now. The cook fighters exist not only because of the Bandiru Gang, but it feels like the Bandiru Gang has a big importance in the existence of the cook fighter. The Bandiru Gang has been acting for a long time, maybe attacking the kingdom somehow. I have no idea, but I'm so curious. And there is also another important thing. In this episode, we see Secretoru attacking for the first time as a villain, but at the same time, we see Spiritoru. Spiritoru is back in action, but Spiritoru's personality is very different than what it was before. It feels like it's copying Secretoru's way of acting. And there are 2 interesting things in this. When we see Secretoru attacking in this episode, we see her with a delicious stone powering up her bento box. But we've also learned before that Spiritoru needs a delicious stone to power him up. So we thought, at least I thought, that she had one delicious stone. But right now, I think she has more than one. Or she found another way to power up Spiritoru. But why did she turn him on if she was not using him for something? So maybe there is she programmed Spiritoru to do something while she went to Cookingdom. And while we're talking about Cookingdom, girl, Secret in this episode, girl, she rocked it. I loved her participation so much. I mean, the villains in this season are really good. I mean, I didn't really love Gentlu, but Narcissus was great, and now Secret is proving to be amazing as well. Talking about Narcissus, when they mentioned Cookingdom to Narcissus, he was really scared. We don't know why, but it was very funny seeing them taking him there, and Mari saying like, well, if you're not able to eat something, please tell us. Like, girl, we know he's a picky eater. We don't know why though. I feel like we might be able to discover. But when they got to Cookingdom, things were very nice. They finally meet Cooking and Cookween, and I love that Ran and Yui shared the same brain cell. The way they acted in front of royalty was so much fun. I love it. And Chervil, what a lovely surprise. What a lovely character we had with Chervil. With them, we learned a lot about how cook fighters are, the importance of cook fighters, etc. And there was obviously this big lesson on, being afraid and taking the first step. And about this, Chervil had a lot of trouble becoming a cook fighter. They were training hard, but they were not able because they were very afraid of lots of things that they have to do to become cook fighters. And they couldn't. Chervil themselves couldn't do it. And we see the girls, sharing lots of happy and interesting moments in Cookingdom, very funny moments as well. But they also shared some heartfelt moments with Chervil. And when Secreturu appeared and attacked, girl, Secreturu's participation in this episode was so cool. That little powder that she used, I don't know, that sleepy cloud that she used, girl, that was great. And the way she, she really made a plan for herself. It was amazing. And she was able to capture that SCPP without, creating a ruckus out of it. But there was something I did not understand about Secreturu. Because there is one thing about cook fighters, the Bandru gang. They are not able to see the SCPPs. The only one who was able to see them was Gentlu. The other ones, I think they can't see them. We know Narcissus can't. Secreturu probably the same. But why was she going for SCPPs in Cookingdom? If she has the same bento box that Narcissus had, which is able to track SCPPs, she could go anywhere. Why did she go to Cookingdom? I know we needed a villain in Cookingdom since the girls were there today, but why? I feel like they needed a better reason for her to go there. But she did, and she was found out by Chervil, and I don't know, I didn't really like that scene because it felt like so simple for Secreturu just to have her cover blown like that. She could easily say, no, I am a cook fighter. She didn't, and she simply gave up. She simply gave up and like, oh, my cover is blown now. Oh my god, I have to fight, and then she did. But we needed a reason for the fight to start. But I don't like this. We need a reason, and then this reason is kind of simple. It happened a couple of times in this episode with Secreturu's participation. So kind of weird. And then we have the fighting scene. The fighting scene did not bring me anything, but I did like Chervil's part and Chervil's participation in the fighting scene. The problem I'm having with this is a little bit of, oh, we are curious, but we need some sort of external help to win the fights. We have this with Black Pepper sometimes, and now we have this with Chervil again. Even though I understand Chervil deserved their own moment in the fighting scene, and it was cute, and I like Chervil's relationship with Fennel. I love it, actually. I absolutely love it. And so, but before that, before the girls were captured inside the pot, it was interesting. We could see a little bit of Yum Yum, a little bit of Spicy. It was nice, and then we have the power-up, and then the girls defeated it. it was good. But there is one nice thing about Chervil, and it's the philosophy behind taking the first step. For Chervil, it was very hard, but he had the best person in Delicious Party to teach him that, which is Amani. Amani went through this. She was able to take the first step in her own redemption as Cure Finale, when she let go of her past and took the first step in becoming the person she wanted to be. And that's what she did. And she knows how hard it is, how scary it is to take the first step. She knows it very well. But she was the one to acknowledge that to Chervil and tell them that it's the hardest thing to do. After you take the first step, it's easier. So, that's what Chervil did in that moment that they became a legit cook fighter. So I loved that it was Amani to give him that peace of mind. Love that. It was very, very well chosen. Very, very nice. And so at the end of the episode, we have a little conversation between Mari and Fennel, and Mari tells Fennel that Cinnamon was probably framed, and Fennel was shocked. He was shook with that information because Fennel did not even want to hear about Cinnamon. And now things are changing because something big happened with Cinnamon in Cook Kingdom, and he was expelled because of it, and then he came to Earth, and then he married someone from Earth, and we all know what happened after. But we don't know what happened before. We don't know what happened prior to that. And we're learning little by little. They're giving us bits and pieces of information. And I'm loving the way they're telling this story. I feel like when they actually tell us what happened, it's going to be something big. And it's going to be tied to Godot's story in this show. Because Godot's is a very big mystery. The Bundaru Gang is a very big mystery in Delicious Party. And I'm very curious. But the best scene of this episode and the best scene of this season for me came after, when the girls were returning. What a big surprise we had. And I'm going to be very honest and say that I have cried when I was watching that moment because the girls were traveling and then they could see the past cures, some past cures, the past 3 seasons actually. Start to Wake Up PreCure, Healing Good PreCure, and Tropical-Rouge PreCure. And I loved that moment because I feel that it really embodied how PreCure is, what PreCure is, the message of PreCure, and the girls discovering that there are other cures like them fighting for what they believe in and giving it their all to protect what's important to them. It was very beautiful. And it's also very heartwarming. Seeing those cures that you love so much again, during a regular episode of a season. Oh my god, that was so beautiful. I was so happy with that. So happy. And girl, watching Star Twinkle again, seeing Star Twinkle on my... Cupard appeared. Seeing Star Twinkle on my screen again, I was really, really happy. And, Star Twinkle is one of my favorite seasons. And I absolutely love Tropical-Rouge too. So it was nice seeing them again. And I loved the reaction of the girls watching that. And Pum Pum, calling Kokone, Kokone, look at that. Oh my god. What a special moment that was. I was not expecting, but I loved it. I loved it dearly. What a special moment we had. Anyways, next week, Mari. Mari takes center stage, and I'm very excited. Finally, a Mari episode. Rosemary, you deserve it so much. We love you, we stand. You are a blessing that Delicious Party is giving us. And episode 29 was very nice. Wow, lots of interesting things. And I feel like this, the part of the story of Delicious Party is really interesting. Whenever the season touches on the actual story of the show, I get very excited because I am loving the way they're telling this story. It's very compelling, it's very curious, and I am always longing for more story on Delicious because it's very, very good. Anyways, babies, this was my view on 29. What was yours? Please leave in the comments. Let's keep talking. Anyways, just want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you are a member, thank you very much for your support. And if you've watched up to now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.